All right, so we're here to share what's going on with Riot in Virginia. Again, my name is Rachael Newberry. I'm the program director for the Riot organization. And just to give you a quick snapshot of who we are as an organization, we have an active IoT community across the globe. We are headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina. We started in 2014 as a 501c3 nonprofit. Helping people to pursue new businesses and job opportunities in emerging technology areas. So as an organization, we are big conveners. We bring folks together to explore these data economy opportunities, to learn about new emerging technologies, and to meet each other and collaborate to pursue these opportunities. So we run things like small format workshops, lunch and learns, all the way up to kind of large conference style events to help people get together and network and explore opportunities at the bleeding edge of tech. We also run a startup accelerator program and a number of programs that support entrepreneurs. And that is the kind of bulk of what we're sharing with you today. We're launching some of these programs in Virginia in 2022. And we also operate essentially an industry consortium. So we work with about 90 corporate partners who are multinational technology corporations to engineering consultancy firms, software development shops, even universities and municipal governments, all folks that are interested in where technology is going, how it's evolving the economy, and how they can get involved to pursue new opportunities together. To give you a snapshot of the kind of Riot organization and some of the metrics as it relates to our network, those corporate sponsors that I mentioned are a part of our activities. We also have over 11,000 folks in our meetup network. So those are people that participate in our events and join networking events and workshops and so on and so forth that we host throughout the year. And we also have supported a number of startups from our inception and through to launching our Accelerator program formally in 2018. So you see some of these job creation numbers here and investment capital that these startups have raised. And we also have activities kind of across the Southeast, out in Colorado, a number of different places in the country where we host events and also have sort of centers of excellence. So for example, in our Raleigh office, we have a prototyping space for folks to build out proof of concept stage hardware devices. We have a wireless testing and certification facility in Wake Forest, North Carolina. We've got the Virginia Smart Community Testbed, where we're basing our operations in Virginia, which is a great asset that we'll share more about, and so on and so forth. So this will give you just kind of a big picture of what we've got going on across all of our Riot activities. And all of this is made possible by these partners that I've mentioned. So here's our current group. These are all folks that are formally in our network sponsoring our activities. They do so to participate in our events, to support entrepreneurs that we have coming through our programs. And again, we kind of act as a central point of connection. We can help to connect the dots and help people to meet each other to go after new business. With that, that's a bit of a high-level picture of the Riot organization. I'd like to pass it over to our executive director, Tom Snyder, for a few minutes to share a little bit of the bigger vision for what we're doing in the data economy and what we're doing in Virginia in particular. And then the remainder of the program, I'm excited to introduce our newest Riot team member and also to talk about programs that we have coming to the Smart Community Testbed in 2022. So Tom, with that, I'm gonna stop sharing our slides here for a moment so you can see everyone, and I'll hand it off to you.
All right, thank you, Rachael, and welcome everyone to the virtual room. Thanks for coming out today, and thanks to some folks that were able to participate for an in-person kickoff that we did last week. As Rachael mentioned, I'm executive director. I'm a co-founder of the organization, and our focus is really on job creation. What I want to do is just briefly talk about kind of how technology steers the economy to a large degree and creates jobs and a little bit of our mission, because I don't want anyone in the region who's wondering, what is IoT? What's the, Rachel mentioned the data economy. Am I a part of that? Am I not a part of it? The reality is that one of our core theses is that throughout all of human history, really, technologies and emerging technologies have shaped the way we live, the way that we work, the way that we play, the way that kind of our lives and our economies move forward. And we are in the midst of what historians and economists have dubbed the fourth industrial revolution. And it's all around data. Originally, the anchor term was called the Internet of Things, or IoT. And it's this concept of we're connecting everything to the internet. And by the way, the internet itself, or information technology that preceded and is part of the overall internet story, that is what was considered the third industrial revolution. So many of us on the line, myself included, may have actually lived through an industrial revolution. In all of human history, we've only had now 4, and we're in the midst of this one. The first was steam, and the second was electricity. So when you think back to things like electricity as an example, once electricity came about, it transformed healthcare, it transformed food safety with refrigeration, it transformed communication with the telegraph and the telephone. It made our world more connected, but most importantly, something as foundational as electricity made it to where we would never go back in any aspect of our lives to the pre-electricity days. Really, it fundamentally changed every job in every industry. Well, the internet has really done the same thing. And so the question is, this Internet of Things, do we really believe it's going to change every single industry? And we think so. And it's a way of saying that the programs and things that we run are not only for really advanced technology companies in the way that the internet isn't only for the tech giants that maybe we hear about day in and day out, but every business, whether you're a nurse or whether you're a plumber or whether you are in any kind of industry today, in some way your business has been impacted by internet technologies. Going forward, our businesses will all be impacted by real-time data. And that's what IoT is all about. It's about this ability to collect information from the world that we live in and instantaneously use that information to start to automate things, whether that's wearing a health monitor on our body, perhaps, that might even be powered by our own body's heat, that helps us to persistently know and begin to predict, is there going to be an acute health issue that we would want to address right away? And isn't that better than a paradigm where we go to a doctor twice a year and based on 2 data points over 365 days, we make critical decisions about our lifestyle and our health, right? As you can get to real-time data persistent, you can start to think about, well, I don't wait until a pipe breaks in my home and then I call the plumber. I can have the plumber install a smart pipe that monitors the conditions, that maybe even predict when a pipe is going to fail before it happens, and we avoid that issue. So real-time data is going to come into every industry. And what Riot is really architected to do is help established organizations and entrepreneurs to think about what kind of jobs are going to be developed through real-time data and through kind of these industry transformations, and how do we help companies to create new business models around that, or to create new opportunities around that, or solve problems that we couldn't solve in the past. So we're a very technology forward organization, and we spend a lot of time ourselves going around the country and speaking and advising and consulting, whether it's to municipal governments or to large organizations. But we found this interesting model with the sponsors that Rachael shared, where we're able to then offer free programs to startup and entrepreneurs who are interested in just thinking about, how are emerging technologies going to impact my future, and how can I maybe leverage that to create a new company or to create change in my existing organization and so on. So I'll pause at that point, but that's a little bit of who we are and the why that we're about, because we think that there's entrepreneurship and opportunity in every community. We're really excited about kicking things off in Stafford, but this isn't just for Stafford. This is really for the greater region, and we branded it really for all of Virginia. But we're looking forward to engaging, learning more about those folks that are on the line here and folks that we're able to engage with. And we're very excited to announce a couple of new programs that Rachael is going to talk about now.
So before we get to the programs, I'm first really excited to announce that Jennifer Morgan has joined our team as our Virginia program lead. You see on the screen here a number of partners in the region, Stafford County EDA, Go Virginia, and of course the Virginia Smart Community Testbed, where Jen is based and where we will be hosting our program. So thank you to those partners. Jen, excited to have you on board, and let me give you an opportunity to say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Like Rachael said, I'm Jennifer Morgan. I come from living and growing up in Stafford and the Fredericksburg region. I used to lead Go Virginia Region 6 efforts, so I'm very familiar with the region and many of the partners, but I'm excited to get to know everyone better and in this new role. And for those of you I have not met, hi and welcome, and please feel free to reach out and ask me any questions you may have.
Thanks so much, Jen. Great. So we would like to share with you all two new entrepreneurial support programs that we are launching in the Stafford region in Virginia this year. First up is a program that we call Riot Foundations. This is geared towards idea stage entrepreneurs. So folks that are curious about starting a business, they might have a business idea that they're working on, or you're a business owner already, you're just in the early stages of getting started. This is a 6-week kind of advising program to help you get your feet under you and get some good foundational business practices to really get you going. So registration for this is open. It is up on the Riot Virginia meetup page. If you're not already on that page, that's a great place to join to see all of our activities. But we have several slots open for business owners to join this program. This will kick off on March 7th and run for a 6-week period. And this program includes a weekly meeting. So we have a number of workshop sessions where we'll cover business foundations, customer discovery. How do you really engage with your market to deeply understand the problem that you're solving? Operations, how do you start to establish and kind of act like a real business? And then, of course, we have this sort of lens of how do you, as a business owner in today's economy, navigate some of the shifts that have happened through COVID and also the shifts to come with emerging technologies. So this is education plus mentorship. Many of our entrepreneurship programs are designed in that way so that we can provide some of those foundational education to help get you started, but also really get to know entrepreneurs deeply one-on-one to help them to kind of navigate challenges and get connected to the right collaborators and so on and so forth. So program number 1, 6 weeks, idea stage entrepreneurs are a great fit for this. And this is education around foundational business principles plus some one-on-one advising. Next up, we have a kind of 12-week intensive program. So this is the Riot Accelerator program. We have run this program since 2018 in North Carolina, and we are bringing it up to the Northern Virginia area. And this cohort that we are launching in Stafford in April will be our 11th cohort of this program. So let me give you some details on this. 12-week intensive program. This is at no cost to entrepreneurs, and we do not take equity in the companies that we support. So we're very accessible in that way. And just like the Riot Foundations program, this is also education layered in with a lot of one-on-one mentorship. So on a weekly basis, a startup will participate in a couple of group workshop sessions where they're working alongside other entrepreneurs. They're learning from subject matter experts, digging into different business and technology topics. And then entrepreneurs also have one-on-one time with the Riot team, and we match mentors through this program as well. So a lot of deep mentorship. The Virginia cohort that I mentioned will kick off on April 27th. Our application deadline for this program is March 11th. So it's a competitive application process for this more intensive program. But again, no cost to entrepreneurs. A few more details on this. The Accelerator program curriculum looks a little bit like this trajectory you see on the screen here. We cover everything from customer discovery and validation to product development, product road mapping. How do you take a prototype that you've had and scale it, make it really robust and able to deploy in the market. And of course, we're covering lots of deep business topics, in particular, go-to-market strategy. How do you connect with those first customers and again, begin to behave like a real business? And we cover things like sales, marketing, how do you scale those processes, all the way through to growth strategies. So how do you build a team? How do you pursue the right kinds of growth capital, whether that's non-dilutive grant funding or venture capital and so on and so forth. So this is a really comprehensive education, and through the program, entrepreneurs are building a really deep professional network because we are connecting in mentors and our partners to help support these kind of go-to-market stage startups. We often get questions around who's a good fit for the Riot Accelerator program. So I wanted to touch on a couple of things. One is, we talk about the Internet of Things or the data economy. Those can be kind of like tech buzzwordy words. And some folks think like, well, I'm not exactly an IoT company. What does that mean? But I wanted to caveat here that we take a really broad approach to this definition around IoT. So we work with a lot of companies that do have a hardware component. We also work with a lot of pure software companies. We tend to work through the Accelerator program with technology startups broadly, but this is open to all industries. So we see a huge range of kinds of startups and different problems that they're tackling. This is well suited for existing startups. So folks that have established a business to some degree. They might have a prototype, they might have some early customers, but usually teams coming through this program are pre-revenue, pre-customer, and they're just on the precipice of going to market. So we help to give them that nudge that they need, get their product ready, and to get the right strategy in place to taking their product to market. We also work with corporate innovation teams through this program. So folks that are working with a larger established company, but pursuing a new kind of product or a new line of business. This program is well suited to help them to vet those new ideas and really understand deeply if there's a real market need. And so corporate teams will kind of come into this program, act like a startup for 12 weeks as a way to pursue some new innovative business. To give you a sense of where the Riot Accelerator program kind of alumni network is at, to date, we have worked with 72 startup companies through this particular program. These companies collectively have driven more than 200 jobs and driven over 100 million in revenue, also raised more than 15 million in grants and equity funding. So this is what our network kind of looks like right now. We're really excited to expand this in Virginia and support more Virginia-based entrepreneurs and bringing them into this network. To give a couple of short stories around the kinds of companies that we've supported through the Riot Accelerator program to this point, you see a couple logos on the screen here. So Shift Auto, a company that was based in Eastern North Carolina. Coming into our program, they had a prototype and they were just beginning to sell. They acquired their first 21 customers through the program and have since located their company in Wilson, North Carolina, which is a rural community that we work in as well. And they're growing their team there. They're now up to 12 full-time staff, and they've bought a building downtown to base their operation. So great success story, and we want to see similar things happen in the Stafford region as well. Opiate is a company that is addressing substance use disorders and helping people to stay in their recovery programs. They won an SBIR grant through our program during their time working with us. And so we oftentimes support kind of these like science-based companies and work with a lot of companies that do end up pursuing or getting awarded through SBIR, STTR programs, if that's of interest. Round, they're in the data privacy space. One of their first customers during their time working with us last year was a COVID-19 testing organization. And then finally, Device Solutions is a great example of one of those corporate innovation teams. So they're an engineering consultancy. They, typically are a services kind of company, but they were creating their first IoT device and, making a foray into the product world. And so they used our program to vet out that new product idea. And this is another kind of small subset of those 72 RAP alumni companies, but I wanted to put some more logos up on the screen just to give you a sense of the diversity that we have in our program. We work with everything from environmental monitoring to energy-based startups to hardware startups, circular economy, medical device and healthcare, manufacturing, and even Campana down at the bottom here is a pet cremation company. So we really see it all, and there's technology in everything. So if folks have questions around if we're a good fit for them, if this is a good program for their kind of business, we really welcome those discussions, and there's often great kind of collaboration points that we can bring to the table. So as you all are thinking about this, whether you're an entrepreneur yourself or folks in your network that are starting new companies, please mention these programs to them. The Riot Accelerator program applications are open. The deadline is March 11th to be considered for that April cohort that is launching at the Smart Community Testbed. And then the program I mentioned earlier, the Riot Foundations program, you can register for that over our meetup page. It's not a competitive application process, but we do have limited slots. And so you can see details on meetup for that. Couple final calls to action, ways to get engaged. If you're not already on the Riot Virginia meetup page, that is where we publish all of our events and activities going on in the region. So a really great way to know what's going on in the community and opportunities for you to get engaged with us. So sign up on meetup.com. And finally, some ways to get involved. This is the inside of the new Smart Communities Testbed. You can reach out to Jen to come and visit the space and check it out. It's a great space for smart community startups to plug in, to test their technology, to leverage the technical assets that are based out of this facility, and that helps startups to get to market more quickly and have kind of an early test bed. So check out the test bed, and we're also always looking for folks to join our sponsor network. If you are with an organization that this sounds interesting for, you want to explore new data economy opportunities and partner with folks that are in our broader ecosystem, please talk with us about that. And we are looking for mentors. It's really critical for us to have strong local support as we help grow new entrepreneurs in the region. So if you have advice to share, experience to share, please reach out to Jen on that as well, and we will share some ways to get involved. So Jennifer's email is up here on the screen. I am going to cut my slides off here and would love to open up the floor for any kind of outstanding questions that we can answer. Feel free to unmute yourself or add things to the chat.
Hello, Chris Colelli here.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Jennifer. You and I traded email just recently. And so I've been working for about 39 years now. So I'm more than halfway around the block. I've got really good intuition and spidey senses for small businesses and startups and what works and what doesn't. My early claim to fame is in the late 90s, I designed the functionality of the remote controls that you get for Dish Network, AT&T, Comcast, and all that for your set-top box. And the company I was with sold 50 million of those over the course of 7 years. I'm very familiar with electronics. And so that's late 90s. Since then, I've done a lot of other things, some big companies, some small. Most recently, I came off of Fort Belvoir working with heads-up displays and night vision, and a semiconductor company I was in has the small display in the ENVGB night vision goggle. So I know the SBIR, STTR, and a number of other things. I'd be happy to join as a mentor. I've got a lot to tell people. I mentored I did something like this in Colorado. I mentored the first place winner of the 12-week incubation period. And that was very good and satisfying. And I think I can do the same for any of the other entrepreneurs that you're working with. I'm at a stage in my career where I can take more career risk. I can make some money or I can make nothing at all. Ultimately, I would like to join one way or another any one of these good companies that is ready to really hockey stick on the revenue. If they haven't made $1 million in revenue yet, that's where I want to take them. And I know the pitfalls to get there. And if they've hit $1 million, I want to help them hit 10 million.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Chris. That's great. And I think we are getting a call on the calendar for you to share more about mentorship opportunities. But yeah, to share with everyone here, as far as mentoring goes, we're looking for volunteer mentors to help to speak into these startups and help them to address the challenges that they're facing. And we have opportunities everywhere from like ad hoc, like we just make those one-off connections where it makes sense, to dedicated support where you're taking a weekly meeting with a startup and taking a deeper dive with one particular company. So yeah, if that sounds fun and interesting, which it is, please reach out to Jen. We'll talk more about it.
It's a good point as well that oftentimes startups are looking for co-founders. Maybe they really understand the tech side of something, but they're looking for a business partner or vice versa. And so don't feel like you have to have a startup idea to engage us. If you're interested in getting involved with an early stage company, we may be able to make connections for you.
Yeah. Small companies often think that the product idea is the winning thing, and it's not all about just the product idea.
Absolutely.
Cool. Other questions?
I'll just add as Rachel mentioned earlier, we're hosting our foundations and RAP Accelerator in the region, but we're going to be hosting info sessions with that. And so we're looking for partners who could be host sites to talk about what we're talking about and any of their own programs. So if you're looking for some collaboration or just wanting to host us in our info sessions, we're going to be doing that in February.
Looking forward to that. We're excited to meet more folks in the region and start to engage with entrepreneurs. And so those info sessions will be coming up on our meetup page if you'd like to keep up with us there as well. Any other? Go ahead.
Sorry. Susan. Yeah, Susan from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm glad. Thanks for the invite. I hopped on. I really want to congratulate you guys for the win of Jennifer Morgan.
Thank you.
On your
We're
team.
very fortunate.
I think that's awesome. And she knows a lot of people, and that's going to be a great help, not just with her knowledge base, but her network, including with the Chamber. And I think this is a great opportunity for so many. The Chamber is about really existing businesses, as I think you know. And often we have folks that come into our world probably prematurely. And we try to direct them to places where they can get advice or help or better instruction. And they probably are a year or two earlier than they should be trying to lay the groundwork of like Chamber networking and the things that we offer. So this is another layer for so much in our community that's needed as we're growing. So I think it's excellent. And I can see us really working together to point people in your direction and so forth, and do all we can to support it. So thank you. And congratulations again, Jennifer.
Thanks so much, Susan. We appreciate you being here and we're looking forward to collaborating. Any other burning questions? Very good. Well, I think Jennifer dropped her email in the chat, so that's a great way to get connected with us. If you'd like to take a follow-up discussion, we certainly welcome that. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon to learn a little bit more. We're excited to have you all engaged, and yeah, don't be shy. We're big collaborators. We're really thrilled to be in the region. We're thrilled to have Jen supporting our efforts in the region, and excited to help some entrepreneurs through these programs this year and beyond. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll let you go for now and look forward to talking with you all soon.
Thanks, everybody.